I have a soft spot in my cold black heart for Bigfoot films. It's a genre built with bricks of very bad films, though sometimes a gem appears in the rough and surprises you. A good Bigfoot film is about as tough to find as Bigfoot himself, so I put together this here semi-weekly feature looking for that elusive creature known as a good Bigfoot movie. Welcome back to MLMillerFrights, a part of the Kings of Horror Network. I'm ML Miller. While you might be watching this video on the Kings of Horror Network, I urge you to click over to my MLMillerFrights YouTube page and give it a like. Please share with all of your buddies. Click subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. Exist was made in 2014. It's available on demand, digital download, and Blu-ray DVD. It's also streaming on Amazon Prime and Tubi. It's directed by Eduardo Sánchez and written by Jamie Nash. Eduardo Sánchez is no stranger to urban myth, as he rose to stardom having directed the found footage sensation Blair Witch Project. Sánchez impressed me more with Lovely Molly, which shed the found footage trappings and knocked me on my ass with some stunning visuals, bone-quaking moments, and an engrossing story. Sánchez returns to found footage with Exists. I like the hook of this film, that being written out for us at the beginning. There have been many Bigfoot sightings through the years. The experts agree that they have not been violent unless provoked. Whether or not you believe in Bigfoot, or the word of Bigfoot experts, will depend on the viewer. The plot, though, plays with a simple revenge story that is instantly engaging, following a group of campers who accidentally hit a Sasquatch in the opening moments, only to find themselves the target of some furry vengeance. For me, making an engrossing plot is important in a film about a creature whose existence is debatable, as it gives Bigfoot's involvement an understandably vengeful slant. The cast is likable as well, though there's not a lot of time for us to get to know them, as almost instantly they hit the Bigfoot. They don't find a body, but capture a glimpse of it on the tape. And then they're running for their lives from it for the rest of the film. Still, the acting feels natural, which is an essential element of a found footage film. My biggest problem, and it's one I admit it's a personal issue in terms of found footage films, is that the film takes the easy route too many times. In my years as a reviewer in this particular period of horror history, I've seen more found footagers than I can count. For me, the ones that hold up are the ones that obey a certain set of guidelines. For it to be found footage, there should be no music. Unless there is a cello section hiding behind a bush somewhere out of frame, there shouldn't be a cello or a synthesizer or Don Music banging his head on a piano or whatever in the film. I find it to be a huge cheat if you can't convey a mood by using the actors' reactions, the natural sounds of what's going on in the scene, some crafty setups and builds, and the erratic feeling you get by watching the story unfold through a shaky cam. Sure, in a regular film, a score is common, but for a film that is supposed to be the closest thing to real life as it can be, nothing takes me out of the found footager faster than hearing music where music shouldn't be happening, and unfortunately, that occurs in Exists. Secondly, the film is made through multiple cams, oftentimes switching POVs and camera types mid-scene. And while, yes, it is possible the survivors of this film would be able to collect all of the cameras and splice them together in order to make a sensible movie, the likelihood of this happening is small. On top of that, there's no indication that this film was spliced together from the different camera angles in the opening. It worked in Blair Witch because there were only 2 cameras filming, so cutting between the 2 wasn't a big deal, and it was indicated that is exactly what was done in the beginning of the film. But in Exists, we cut from a dashboard cam, to a phone cam, to a helmet GoPro, to a handheld cam, all in one scene. Again, if we're supposed to be believing this film is happening in real time, the presence of an omniscient editor only works against all of that. Exists is guilty of doing this as well. A simple blurb at the beginning of Exists stating, "The following is comprised of found footage and put together by a forensics team in order to make sense of the events that occurred leading to the deaths of 5 young campers in the forests of northwest blah blah blah." In taking that extra simple step, it makes things much more believable. If you want to justify that your film is meant to be found footage and not some film simply made on the cheap, then simple steps like this should be considered and made to make it much more believable. Knowing that this is the same director that made A Country believe 3 hikers were missing after looking for a witch in the woods, one would think that is something within Sanchez's wheelhouse. My personal POV perspective peeves aside, I challenge anyone to find a better looking Bigfoot than the one that shows up here. Not only the way it looks, but the action involving Bigfoot in pursuit and its strength in action is all top-notch here. There are some genuinely frightening moments despite the fact that it breaks some rules of the found footage rulebook, such as the Bigfoot knocking a trailer over the edge of a cliff and then leaping down onto it, all caught on camera. Exists wraps with a powerful and nail-biting ending that had me panting. Though it's not the perfect found footage film, Exists is a really well-done Bigfoot movie worth seeking out for believers and non-believers alike. I give Exists 4 feet and 2 toes. That'll be it for today. Please chime in down below in the comments and let me know how on the nose or mind-numbingly wrong I am, or you can counter with your own review. So guys, you know how YouTube works. I'd love to be able to dedicate more time to this channel. I'm not monetized yet, so if you want to help me out, remember to hit all the pertinent bells and whistles down below. Want some spooky comics to read? I have 2 new horror comic book trade paperbacks you should look out for. Both Gravetrancers and Pirouette, collecting never-before-published issues, can be found in only the finest of comic book shops. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on my website, MLMillerFrights.com. If you really want to show your support, I also have a Patreon page at MLMiller. Look for the link to my Patreon page down below. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're doomed. You're doomed. Live the life that you are meant to be. Live inside that